In this episode...
Merry Christmas, you filthy animal. And a Happy New Year.
The Fantasy Football Show.
Hello everybody and welcome to PlanetFPL, the show each and every week where the world revolves around Fantasy Premier League. My name's Suj.
My name is James.
And it's over, Christmas is over, New Year's is over, back to everything in normality.
And brave.
Yeah. So, you're leaving this battery charger here, man, child, that can go. This episode is one that I've been looking forward to for 2 days, but in a weird way. Nothing to do with Spurs losing. Nothing to do with Spurs
I was going to say, this is a podcast I've not been looking forward to for 2 days.
Because since the last round of fixtures and us hitting record on the mics, I think we've spoken the least.
Probably
prior
true,
to any other podcast. So
yeah.
I actually have no idea on your opinions on anything, vice versa.
All right.
So I think this is the coldest we've ever gone into a show.
Okay, I'm feeling bloody cold, by the way. Not as in freezing cold.
But sad.
Yeah, a little bit.
And also, I'm going to happily, openly admit, by New Year's Day, I was done with football. Like, I didn't want to watch any, other than obviously going to West Ham. Maybe because of I followed it, and I knew what was going on, but I just didn't have the desire to just want to sit and watch a game. And the build up to our game was probably quite a lot to do with it. Like my head was really focused on Moyes' first game, and then Southampton winning, Watford winning, and picking up the points was like, right, whoever loses here today is
You're
going
in trouble.
into the relegation
Yeah.
zone. So the whole day ended up being really super focused on that, and I didn't have any headspace for anything else. We're lucky that the game's updated itself now, so
Finally.
we could have sitting here twiddling our thumbs, not even knowing what was going on with the game. But that has finally updated itself. Someone probably just went home, right, or something. Who cares, really?
I think I've watched over 20 live games over this Christmas period from the Premier League. I'd say that's got to be about right.
Wow.
It got to a point for me. I got home and I was a bit drunk on New Year's Day. I wanted to watch your game, but I thought as you were going,
Yeah.
I put Man City on my tablet. I let the baby have the telly,
Yeah.
and I put Norwich and Crystal Palace on my phone. And I was mainly watching City because there was we'll talk about it later, but a bit of a tactical switch formation wise. And I was watching it, but I wasn't really there. Like, I was just in Spurs headspace.
Yeah.
Like, I was watching it, and the game finished.
I know how you feel.
Yeah. And I wasn't sure if I was there or, yeah.
You hadn't finished processing what had happened in your game.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
And obviously Mourinho's antics as well.
It used to be like that. Like, if Spurs played at, say, 1:30 on a Sunday, and there could be a massive game at 4:00. If we'd had a bad result,
couldn't watch the next game.
I'd watch it, but it's like I'm not really there.
Yeah. So tell everybody about your game week. It's 20 or 21 or whatever it is.
21 gone.
Right.
My game week ended on 48 points.
Yep.
I made the exact transfers I said I would make. Grealish to Traore. Ouch.
Yeah, I did see that one and think,
It's going to happen, isn't it?
Yeah.
Lindelof to Robertson. So actually, Robertson and Traore got 14 points, the exact same points that Grealish and Lindelof got.
Okay, yeah.
So it cancelled itself out, and I'm obviously in a far happier
You didn't
place.
take a hit for that, though, did you?
No, they were 2-3s.
Yeah.
I'm in a far happier place with Robertson back in the team. It was great to get him in, and obviously, you know, on this occasion, he doubled Trent's score, so timing-wise, it turned out quite nicely for me. Yeah, of course, wish I'd sold Zaha before I'd sold Grealish, but it is what it is. I've already made one transfer, as some might have seen, and I tweeted this at half-time of the Spurs game on New Year's Day.
Yeah.
If you own 3 Spurs assets, you'll be taking a -8 in the next 10 days.
Yeah, I did see that
I own 2, so I'll only be taking a -4. I've already sold Kane with the injury. I jumped on Danny Ings New Year's Day evening. Absolutely sick of that bastard. like doing me in every
Yeah.
week. It might be that short-termism, there was better choices maybe with like a Calvert-Lewin or a Maupay or a Deeney or a Delafeu. I just decided, do you know what? This guy's scoring the odd goal in big fixtures even. They have a longer good run. Like they've obviously got Leicester away next game week and they've got Liverpool away in 4 game weeks. Can he score the odd goal in these games? Yes. And they have a longer good run right up until they play Man City. I think it's in around about game week 33. So he's in, and except for injury, he's staying in. I'm suffering it. He's punishing me every week. And 2 goals for Danny Ings is like 3 goals from someone else. Mm-hmm. He's always hitting the bonus, mate. Every time. So, yeah, and that gives me money where I comfortably go Ali straight to Mane.
How's that helped your rank? Well, obviously it hasn't helped your rank.
48 points is toilet, isn't it?
So what did it do
I've dropped
overall?
60k, so I'm about 365k now.
365, and your total points now?
Oh, God, you are challenging, aren't you?
Sorry, mate.
1,178.
I'd just like to know what the difference between us is, because it's getting closer and closer. 26 points it is now.
Okay.
26 points. I ended up on 53 points. I think both of us did well with Cantwell coming in as first sub off the bench for Jamie Vardy. For a lot of people, I think Cantwell was first sub.
There was quite a few blockers like Raheem Sterling and stuff blocking Cantwell's and quite a few people seem to have Grealish on the bench.
Oh,
Interesting one.
I didn't. I only made one transfer, which was it didn't work out from a points point of view. I got rid of Richarlison for Traore. I wanted the money, and Traore's price kept just creeping up.
So our transfers worked out well this
very well. Having said that, look, Maddison did well for me with 11 points. Cantwell with 10. Trent and Robbo again both delivering. Robbo on the BPS as well. Which one's gonna? It's like the Salah Mane debate. Just get both right at this point. I mean, with Salah and Mane, you can't afford to, but with Trent and Robbo, you can get both.
Yeah,
it's easier to get both.
It's easy for us to say now, isn't it? Because, you know, we went through a long period where they weren't getting the clean sheets, but it still felt like every week one of them was like assisting or something or getting in the BPS in some way. And now you're looking at them going, oh, right, these guys are regularly averaging me sort of 9 each. As sort of average-wise, the way they're playing at the moment. There's almost certain to be another clean sheet next week for them. And then there's more fixtures where you feel like there could be more. So, yeah, I think the double defensive plus one of Salah and Mane. I've now decided I'm going to go a Salah or Mane rather than a VVD on top. And part of the reason for that is the captaincy issues after the double game week. I felt like I could have gone into the double game week and gone with a Trent captain, or even like Vardy, Rashford have decent fixtures in the midweek fixtures in home games. But it's a safer play to go with Mane or Salah, and it's the run of fixtures in February as well, where I think you're going to need to be captaining them almost every week during that period for a little while.
Mane's coming in for me this week.
And I might even captain Mane next week now.
I had the debate of Sterling versus Everton or Mane versus Sheffield United. Now, Sheffield United have been good defensively, so I didn't see their massive clear advantage on going with Mane over Sterling, so I didn't pull the trigger on that one. Again, that could have bloody helped me. So I didn't pull the trigger on that in the end, and then my vice captaincy moved to Kevin De Bruyne, which didn't help either. So 53 points and a slight green arrow of 16k. I'll just move on from it now.
Yep.
I've had 2 free transfers for a while now, and I kept making only one and kicking it forward, waiting for a mini wild card, if that's what you call it, isn't it? Really. And I've got 2 this week. I've had to make one transfer. Tom Heaton's gone because he's injured, so Fabianski came in for Tom Heaton. He played well again, and we played well, so there's some hope there.
No brainer that.
And then Raheem Sterling's going to go for Sadio Mane with my other free transfer. I think that's pretty much a given. But I'd like to hold off on that until after the FA Cup games. If I don't need to make it because one's price is not going one way and the other, I'll hold off.
Yeah, there is obviously an element of risk. I think particularly around maybe going Liverpool actually early this week, although they'll make mass changes against Everton. It's not unreasonable to think that like Mane might play on Sunday and a few others as well, perhaps some of the defensive ones. But say like with Danny Ings, look, if he plays against Huddersfield in the third round of Cup and he gets injured, then so be it. It's my fault. I can't see him playing for them at the weekend. So I've taken that gamble. I think there are certain teams you want to avoid. Like, I mean, if anyone out there is thinking, I desperately want to get back on Son, like he will play at Middlesbrough at the weekend.
Yep.
I'd probably wait for whatever reason. So, yeah, I think a lot of these, like Calvert-Lewin, it's almost certainly going to... Everton will go full strength at Liverpool, so probably wait off Everton is a good case example. But a lot of sides will rotate. So I think some you can go early on, some you'd be better off avoiding. Any of the guys in the League Cup next week, so you got obviously Leicester, Villa and the two Manchester clubs. I probably wouldn't go early on any of them. If you wanted, if people think, I want to dive back to Grealish, you might be playing twice before they play Man City.
Yeah, now's not the time.
Yeah, there's a few you can go early. Definitely those playing in the League Cup and Everton, I would probably avoid from early moves.
Let's talk about some of these games from Wednesday and the one game last night. It's Thursday.
It's Friday now,
today,
Suj.
and it was last night.
Nobody knows this time of year what day of the week it is.
Confused. I really am confused. So Wednesday's games and then the last night game as well. So we kicked off early with Brighton 1, Chelsea 1. Chelsea obviously went ahead early. Brighton came back well and were constantly knocking on the door. I am in a real kind of limbo land with Neil Maupay now from a Brighton point of view. He's still playing well and getting chances and taking shots. He has had a couple of blanks in the last 2 out of the last 3. So I'm in a bit of a no man's land with him. I've got enough money to turn Maupay into Ings, for example, and there are other options. But then, you know what, if you sell him, he's still capable of returning. So I don't know if it's worth the transfer at the moment. I might just hold out on Neil Maupay.
Yeah, I think hold. It's probably off-putting that they've got 3 of the next 4 away, but Everton, Bournemouth, West Ham, he can return in. There's Villa and Watford at home in the next 5 as well. So I think it's a hold. He's decent value at 5.8,
Yeah,
isn't
he's
he?
not bad. I mean, Danny Ings is now 6'7", 6'5", isn't he? 6'5", 6'6".
Yeah, Danny Ings will keep going up as well.
In inverted commas.
It's just now, I think it's that with Danny Ings, people have seen he scored home and away against Tottenham now. He scored in big fixtures as well. So the thing is, his goal involvement for Southampton is massive. He's almost like the biggest talisman in the game at the moment. It's like, okay, fine, they'll lose 2-1, he'll get the goal. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, for me, I had to pull the trigger. I was getting sick of it, especially after I did all that stats on him pre-Christmas as well. And the number one reason I didn't bother was I was like, he ain't going to play 26th and 28th. And I was right. He didn't play at Chelsea. He scored in every other bloody game, didn't he?
Yeah.
Shit happens. Brighton, there was... Shout out to Dan, FPL Chancellor, because we met up, we watched the game, we watched Spurs. It was nice to have some company for it, or I might have done something I regretted. But we watched Brighton Chelsea first as well, and one of the things I noticed about Brighton, and it's possibly a little critical on some of the things I have seen and I've praised them so much for their work in between the lines. Particularly in the first half, they got done a lot down the flanks, and it's because they play so narrow and good at picking out the balls in between the lines that I think there's teams, I don't really see teams coming up that can take advantage of it so much, other than the next one, which is Everton. You think of if they're going to play wing backs with like Sidibe, I can see that. Yeah, I mean, Sidibe's the one now. I can see why people would go, timing is, and Everton have a decent run of fixtures now as well. I can see why that would appeal, because they let overlaps happen in the wide areas too much. And Chelsea exploited it in the first. In fact, to be honest, if Chelsea's been in a position, I said it to Dan watching the game, they'd have been better off going with Emerson or Alonso in this particular fixture, actually, I think. But Brighton recovered really well in the second half, really well. And 1-1 was about spot on in the end. What a goal, mate, from Jahan Prakash. Yeah. What a goal. Let's get him in.
Let's not.
Let's not.
With Sidibe's one that I had an eye on. Rico is where I'd make the sacrifice, and Bournemouth doing nothing right now. So I don't think that's a bad move. If you have $1 million lying around and you think you want to play Sidibe in a lot of the next 6 or 7 or 8 fixtures, it's not a bad move. I still think I might, rather than upgrade Maupay to Danny Ings, for example, Rico to Sidibe makes more sense in my mind right now.
Yeah, we spoke about it on the last one, didn't we? About maybe making the saving on Holgate. But I think, with the immediate fixtures,
Sidibe might be the one.
It's going to depend where you're at from a price point perspective if you want to go in on Everton. It's not something I feel urgent to do, but I think, Everton, those wide areas could exploit some of the things that... Because Everton are playing with more width now, with those guys bombing on, whether they play a back four or back three as they started with at Manchester City. They'll get more joy in this fixture. So I can see why people would target them now. And Sidibe is definitely the one over Dean anyway, at least.
Chelsea's ownership is still plummeting. Like, there's only 2 players now with more than 10% ownership, Mount and Abraham, and both of theirs is dropping like a stone as well. Pulisic is well down now, 5.6%. Willian's the one that's gone up a little bit in 6.2%, but no one's really buying Chelsea players right now. Is there any reason to want to go towards Chelsea right now?
I mean, Abraham's still a decent option. Chelsea have a run of fixtures between game week 24 and game week 27, where they have Arsenal at home, Leicester away, United at home, Tottenham at home. And if they perform well in those 4 fixtures, they'll absolutely, definitely finish top 4. I think Abraham's still fine at the value. Like, if you're on or you want to go back, it's okay. Obviously, a little bit of concern. We've seen there's been a bid for Moussa Dembele, and I don't mean the one that I desperately miss at Tottenham. I mean the forward who's at Lyon has been turned down apparently for 34 million. And I don't know if that might have a negative impact on Abraham for him to think, what's all that about? I'm doing all right here. I think Willian's the one it seems to be performing, but that's an FPL mistake we've all made before. I don't want to go back to that. And there's so much uncertainty defensively, whether it... I mean, is that Tomori wasn't even sub, so what does it mean? Doesn't even give us a clue. Was he injured?
No.
We don't know. Was it preference for him over Zuma still? Well, not. I think you just stay away. Rudiger at 6 million is too expensive.
They're still going to get 4th though, aren't they? Because everyone else below them is imploding right now.
Yeah, they'll get 4th by default. Yeah, like I said, they've got that run of 4 games, which 3 of them are at home, where if they perform well, they'll finish top 4, because they'll have, although they've shown lack of consistency in home games, they've got enough consistency away from home that'll level it out, and they've got more quality than the other side's threatening for me in that position, and they've got players to come back. You forget about people like Loftus-Cheek, for example.
Famous last words here, or let me re-quote what was said on the previous podcast about the Burnley-Villa game. Burnley are walking into a real tight run of fixtures, so Sean Dyche will be able to get them up for it, because if they don't win this one, then they could slide into trouble. And what happened? Villa turn them over. Dean Smith's job's on the line. Everyone's saying how open he is and how he's going to cause Villa trouble. They're not even in the relegation zone now, and they've got themselves a little bit clear. So, I don't know. What do we make of this?
They needed to. Obviously, look, big changes here for Villa in terms of change of system, with a back 3, which was very much a back 5 in the second half once they'd got the 2-goal lead. And obviously, very importantly, Tyrone Mings was back amongst that.
Yeah.
And you certainly highlighted it yourself on the last podcast about his importance. No question about that.
Having said that, they just lost David Luiz and was it El Ghazi's out?
Douglas Luiz?
Sorry, I don't even know why I'm talking about Luiz.
I don't know why you are.
Tom Heaton's out now for the rest of the season. Is it El Mohammedi's out for the rest of the season as well that I read?
No, Wesley.
Wesley's out for the rest of the season?
Wesley. So there's been links in the last 24 hours about a loan move for Batshuayi.
Okay.
Which fits in with the idea of Chelsea looking at Moussa Dembele. Yeah. So you could see that. I think Batshuayi actually short term is from a goal threat perspective would be an upgrade on Wesley. That said, he's not as good as the target man, and retention of ball at times might be something that Villa need in games where they're struggling. Jack Grealish was involved in every goal that Aston Villa scored over the Christmas period. Only 4, but 2 goals, 2 assists. Looks a ridiculous move to sell him in hindsight for me, and I think others are feeling the same. I wouldn't go back, not yet, not with that City fixture. And like I said, obviously 2 cup games before that as well.
But after that, I think it's a potential consideration.
I think they might look at a goalkeeper now.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I mean, Jed Steer played most of the championship season, wasn't great. I don't know enough about this Nyland fella. I don't think the reports are that he's great either. So that's a massive issue for Villa. It would be Grealish or nothing.
Correct.
On Burnley, over the 4 games of the Christmas period, do you know how many shots on target they had, Suj?
I'm going to guess 0.
Don't be
because-
silly.
okay,
It's not
fine.
0, is it? I mean, 4
4
football games. They scored on Saturday. There's a giveaway.
Less than 10.
3.
3 shots on target, 1 goal. That's fantastic conversion rate. Problem
In
is,
4
you can't
games.
have 3. You can't have 3 shots over 4 games.
Well, that spells huge problems. They'd lost the 3 previous games without scoring and obviously lost here. Obviously, they'd beat Newcastle in game week 17. Before that, took hidings to Tottenham and Man City and lost to Crystal Palace. So if you go back to following the 3-0 win at Watford in game week 13, it's 3 points, a 1-0 home win against Newcastle. And coming up for them, Chelsea, Leicester, Manchester United, Arsenal. In trouble, actually.
I agree with you. I think that they need to be looking over their shoulder. It's only because other teams are performing badly. But now, really, from the bottom 3, the only one that we'd say is nailed on would be Norwich. Watford are on their way out.
I still even feel like with Norwich, like because they play decent football,
Yeah.
like they do have the chance somewhere to go and win back-to-back games. They're giving, it's the other end's the problem, but they're always scoring in games, right?
Yeah.
They're giving themselves a chance.
Yeah.
They just need to have a game or two where they score 5 goals in 2 games or something to give themselves
A bit more of
a
chance,
real
yeah.
possibility, because they're not going to keep clean sheets unless they add defensively.
No.
But Burnley are right back in it. Right back in trouble. How clear are they, Suj?
They're above us, and we're 2 points clear, 2 or 3 points. Well, the game is hand, so not much.
15th, 4 points clear of Bournemouth, and with them fixtures coming up, we highlighted Bournemouth for a little while and said, I'm going to get dragged back into it.
Yeah.
That run now is concerning. It's almost happened quietly. Like, you can't be... We try not to mention XG too much on this, but if you're going to have 2.24 spread over 4 games, you know, you're averaging out at like 0.61 per game, is it, or something? It's not even that, is it? 0.56 or something. Like, over 4 games, you're averaging out of that.
Yeah.
You're in trouble.
It's not like they've had top 6 opposition in all of those either. They
Well,
should
no,
have
you would have backed them to bounce back and beat Villa. I think
Yeah, I
most
would
of
have
them
put
would
money on them
have.
to beat Villa. 100%. 100%.
Goodmanson back will be a big bonus for him. There was a noticeable difference between the way they played first half and second half, and it's probably because Villa sat off a little bit more. The biggest clue you'll get to the difference territorially is look at Robbie Brady's average position in the first half, which is deeper than Burnley's fullbacks, and Goodmanson ends up, if you look at the overall game, it looks at the highest on the pitch ahead of sort of Wood and that, but that's because of the change in territorial, and Villa for a change sensibly going, okay, we're a couple ahead here. Let's sit behind this, not give space away, etc. So, yeah, big win for Villa.
Leicester's reserves, I'm not going to call them reserves really now, they're pretty much back to full strength, bar Jamie Vardy, but they just keep marching on. They just keep marching on.
Very impressive.
Everything about it, isn't it? It's just, I'm sitting on 2, you're sitting on 1 or 2, 2.
1 Vardy. I'd like to get Maddison in. I'd like to probably get a defender back in. It's a good long progressive run for Leicester's. We highlighted weeks ago that their fixtures didn't look too bad for a long sustained period. I don't know, Southampton at home, Burnley away, West Ham at home. You can't look past 9 points there, really, can you? But
no.
I feel like as much as we just criticised Burnley, they'll be well up for it. It's a game that's on the telly as well.
Yeah.
West Ham at home now is possibly a different fixture, and Southampton travel quite well, as proven by winning at Stamford Bridge lately and that. So not as great as they look on paper, and then they walk into Chelsea, Wolves, Man City.
I mean that's like that, but we're still clutching at straws here. They're still
But they're a
probably
great
beat.
side.
They'll still probably beat all 3. It's
They're
only,
the 3rd best side in this country, and I'm pretty sure that's where they'll finish.
Yeah, I agree with you. We've said it on previous shows that there might be 9 possible players that you could pick out of there. There's probably still 7 that you'd think so. I don't think Tielemans or Perez potentially are in there nowadays, or Harvey Barnes, but Maddison, Vardy definitely, Soyuncu, Pereira, and Chilwell for sure, and Schmeichel for sure.
Evans 5.3 and Soyuncu 5.1 just feel the safer way to go here with Leicester. Noticeably, they also changed system to a back 3 against Newcastle on New Year's Day. And interestingly, obviously, Christian Fuchs played as the left-sided centre-half, and Soyuncu, who normally plays left of Johnny Evans, played right, with Johnny Evans staying centrally. And I wonder if that's to protect him a little bit leg-wise, with all the games they've had recently, might be one of the reasons they've done that. I mean, the back three suits Leicester, really. You think Chilwell and Pereira?
Yeah, let them be free.
I mean, as wing-backs are great, aren't they? Because as much as the wide players and the talents of people like Harvey Barnes, Damari Gray, their output is not as good as what it should be playing for a side like that. And actually, formation-wise, with sort of Ndidi, Maddison and Tielemans in there as a midfield three, they're great together, aren't they?
Yeah.
And it does add to the possibility, I think, in the near future, if that's something they're going to retain, that Iheanacho or Ayoze Perez might get minutes in a centre-forward position. But I think so many of us have got Vardy that you're probably just not looking down that route. And I don't think them playing Christian Fuchs at centre-half is going to be something that they'll do regularly. I think they would be in trouble if Evans particularly picked up an injury for whatever reason. Like looking at Fuchs and Wes Morgan as backups, that's an area they need to improve.
Short term, they'd get you through. I mean, Wes Morgan played against us; he was all right. It'll get you through 1 or 2 games, but yeah, if it was till the end of the season, you might worry a little more. Come on, then. I haven't seen the
Do you not
anything.
want to talk about Newcastle assets?
No, because I don't think they're any worth it.
Injuries.
But what are your thoughts?
Just quickly on that. The amount of injuries they've picked up at weekend.
Do you think they are at risk as well?
Yeah, 100%. I said that in the last pod.
Yeah.
We've got sort of Wolves, Chelsea, Everton coming up next. I think Wolves and Everton are away, Chelsea at home. Yeah, they're in trouble. Newcastle and Burnley are both 2 teams I feel could be in free fall.
Go on then, you idiot.
Well, Dubravka made 24 saves over the 4 game weeks.
6 a game, so 2 points per game.
Yeah, I'm just avoiding Spurs.
Come on.
Okay.
I'll be as rude to you as I want to be.
You do that. First thing, yes, do target Danny Ings. As I've said numerous times, they've got that solid base now, Southampton, with Bednarek and Stevens, Ward-Prowse and Højbjerg. Ward-Prowse, over the 4 Christmas fixtures, had more tackles than any other player. Højbjerg, more recoveries than any other player. They're working their socks off in midfield. Defensively, much, much better. It's now obviously clean sheet against us, clean sheet against Chelsea a couple of weeks ago. Alex McCarthy at 4.3 million, just because he's the cheapest goalkeeper in the game, and actually they've got themselves into a bit of form, he's okay. He's bang average, but he's the cheapest, and if you want to go down that route of having the cheapest, he's locked that position now ahead of Angus Gunn.
I think I didn't expect anything less from Southampton, because when Hassan Hüttl came in, it was that pressing style that was so impressive about them, their work rate and energy, and when they play in that way, which they have done, they can win games and they'll beat anyone. And I'm not surprised at all that they've got themselves out of it. And they're quite a way clear now, Southampton. They've given themselves some real room away from the bottom.
Yeah, when they looked buried, sort of just towards the start of December.
They really did.
They have got a difficult run of fixtures. I mean, Leicester away, Wolves at home, Palace away, Liverpool away. I mean, that's a really, really tough run. Am I mad going in on Danny Ings now? No, not at all, because when you look at the people like Gineppo, Redmond, you're just not going to get the returns.
No, there's only one that you can go to at Southampton.
Danny Ings is going to be involved so much. They could lose all 4 of them games 2-1 and he might score in all of them. And that's just where they're at. His goal involvement is phenomenal. I don't know the numbers on it, but I'd be surprised if now he's not the most talismanic player in the game. So for that reason, I've decided to cut my losses on it, get some value up in here. He can sit in there while he's fit and crack on with it. Spurs. I was heavily critical of the performance at Norwich. In hindsight, the performance at Norwich was world class in comparison to this shocking show of drivel.
What's going on at your place, mate?
God. Everything from top to bottom is so bad at the moment. The whole squad. We're going to do a pod on Monday about who needs what in the transfer window. I need a whole new team, mate. It's just so bad. I don't know where to start with it.
The players are not that bad individually.
Do you know what? I keep hearing this. So Jamie Redknapp said before the Norwich game on Sky, he was talking about why Mourinho would take the Tottenham job. And he's talking about the Tottenham squad and he's going, look at that squad they've got. You know, anybody would want that job. And I'm looking at it, I'm going, man, if Chelsea or Leicester wanted to buy my players tomorrow, the two teams who, I mean, can't even catch them. But if they were to target our players, who would they want?
Harry
Son?
Kane.
Kane?
Harry Kane. Problem with Harry Kane is he'll come at a very, very hefty price tag, right? Because of the fact that he's English and what's gone before him. Like, you're talking 150 million kind of price tag.
These guys aren't going to go to Chelsea or Leicester.
No,
I'm just making a case for an argument that like people are going, and Jamie Redknapp saying, oh, Spurs squad's much stronger than Chelsea's. I was like, what? Me personally, I'm going, what are you smoking, mate?
Nah, I think on paper. But if you look at the level of experience in the Chelsea squad, your squad's more experienced.
That's doing me a lot of good, isn't it?
No, and that doesn't always lend itself to what's happening on the pitch.
Look at the goal, right? So I don't understand that in the Chelsea game, Davinson Sanchez was our best performer. He played well against Brighton. We were much better when he come on against Norwich, and he's left him out again. And the goal comes from a ball over the top in behind. That goal where Ings flicks it over Alderweireld, I am telling you two things. One, it wouldn't have happened if Sanchez had been on the pitch because his pace recovery from the same position would have recovered, even if Ings had flicked it over his head. And two, a couple of years ago, Toby would have never let him do that. He's diving in and making irrational decisions that he never would. He always used to stay on his feet. And now, I think, one, he's recovering from his lack of mobility and pace, which now causes him a problem. And two, he's so petrified of anyone having a shot on goal because the goalkeeper ain't going to save it, mate. I'm not blaming him for the goal at the weekend, but they've got no confidence in him. I don't understand the team he picked again.
Well,
Ericsson, just a mess.
More,
so then you go there and you're still trying to play direct football. It's all right going, second half, we had loads of the ball again. Man, I can't remember a shot we had in the second half. Like, seriously, it was pitiful. If you've got Spurs assets, sell them. With Aurea, it's the same thing I warned you all along. You might get attacking returns. You are not going to get clean sheets off this fella. And Liverpool now are serious captaincy options in that fixture when perhaps previously we might have not looked at that.
Yeah.
Because the ownership numbers are building so big and there'll be loads of investment for Salah Mane, the advice now would be, get it done, and between now and next week, I make a decision probably on whether I'm captain Mane or Vardy in Gameweek 22.
Is it descending that quickly that we could see Mourinho in and out in under a season?
It's possible. If he loses at Middlesbrough on Sunday, I think it's possible. Like, it could be gone next week. It's going to turn that quick. You can already see all the hallmarks of Mourinho in terms of, the stuff with the antics at the weekend, things he's been saying about Ndombele. Like after the game, all right, Ndombele's played at Norwich. He's completely unfit. You've played him again against Southampton, and he's pulled up after 20 minutes. And you think criticising him is going to help the situation.
But he called Ndombele your best player after the Norwich game as well.
So it's just mixed signals all the time.
Yeah.
He's playing direct football with no pace in the team. Admittedly, that Son coming back in, who I presume will play out of position while Kane's injured with this injury. Because of that, Son is still a potential FPL asset. You know, he's down to about 5% ownership. I think it's 9.7 or 9.8, Son.
Wow, he's dropped massively.
Yeah, I mean, you can go back, not this week, but after Liverpool, you can go for him. He's going to get a run of fixtures playing out of position. I can't say no Spurs. Dele Alli, for me, is sell. I don't think him being without Kane is beneficial to him and his game. I see the problems in midfield being that he's getting deeper and deeper, and he only seems to be getting right up top again when we go behind in games. Man, I could go on forever about this. Just like,
we've got another show for that. If anybody wants to
Spurs,
listen to more about Tottenham and West Ham, we have a show each and every Tuesday called Tottenham.
Should be fun this week.
Yeah, it will be fun this week. Well, to be honest, I've got I've got nothing to say about your lot and only things to say about mine. So there's going to be.
Do you know what? You never comment much on Spurs. Go for it. Actually, no, don't do it. Save it for Tottenham.
I'm going to save it for Tottenham. Watford 2, Wolves 1. Another victory for a club that were in the bottom 5 at the weekend. Pearson's doing bits here. Nigel Pearson's
He's doing great, isn't he?
Them doing what they. If you ask me right here, right now, are Watford going to get relegated? I would say no. Ismail Sarr picked up an assist again at the weekend, so he's becoming a real FPL potential asset. I think we can start looking at Watford again now. Do you know what?
100%.
I haven't had much interaction with Toomey actually for a little while. Stephen Toomey. I might just see how he is.
Stephen's right. He had a busy Christmas and stuff
No
going on,
doubt.
but I'm sure he's very happy. He's probably in shock.
I just want an article where the last line isn't no Watford assets are selectable right now, because there are Deeney and Delafeu, if you like. Ismail Sarr is a potential consideration.
But they've got more points over the Christmas period than they had in the previous 17 game weeks.
Yeah,
so
mad.
of course they're in form now.
Yeah,
and I don't know. He's not changed the world. It's not rocket science. He's got a back four playing together who are probably a little bit more restrained. He played Dawson at right back against Wolves, which is a strange one, really, because it's not a fullback, but it's just a little bit more protection. Stable. Hughes missed out against Wolves, but Chalobah come in and played well. I think getting Doucouré close to Deeney is good. I like that as a move. It's just a lot stronger in those central areas. And I've got two wide players who are quick. Like Pereira's a good player, but these two, Delafeu and Sarr, are a lot more direct in terms of what they're doing. And there are quite a few asking now about Ismail Sarr. What price is he, Suj?
Ismail Sarr is £6.2 million.
Yeah, you can do it. Fixture-wise, they've obviously now got a massive game against Bournemouth. It's Sunday. It's on the telly. Look forward to that one. Where if they win it, they'll probably, with Villa playing City, they'll probably finish the weekend outside the bottom 3. They're the form horse down there, right? So they've got every chance of getting out of it. They've got Spurs at home the week after. That's another 3 points. And then they go to Villa for the return of the fixture from the other week. Then they have a more difficult run, but they've given themselves a real chance. They look like a threat. If you want an attacking one, I would favour Sarr.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on that.
Just a form runner, the extra point for a goal as opposed to Delafeu being classified as a forward. Not for me yet, personally. But yeah, you can look.
Do we read anything into Wolves' defeat?
No, it's just typical Wolves.
It's just it's not typical Wolves because they don't really lose games.
No, it is typical Wolves to lose a fixture like this, unfortunately. It's why they won't challenge for top 4.
Yeah, I understand that, but then they've been drawing a lot of games. Like, they haven't lost a lot of games this season. I don't have the table in front of me, but they draw plenty. They don't lose
5,
as many.
I think, maybe. No, they don't lose many games.
Yeah, and look, they've been playing so well with that intensity for so long. You know what? Sometimes it happens. If you have Wolves assets like your Jimenez's and Traorés, you're not coming off them off the back of that result.
With Wolves, as I've said numerous times, they've got Espanyol in Europa League. It's a difficult tie, but I think if they win it, they could go quite far in the competition. They don't have the strength in numbers in midfield and defensive positions. Obviously, Neves didn't really dominate the ball in this fixture until Neves came on in the second half. Just a note on goal scorer Pedro Neto, who obviously very unjustly had the goal ruled out at Anfield
Liverpool,
as well.
Yeah.
He's 5 million and rated as a midfielder. Now, no suggestion that you should go in. However, I think it's one to watch, particularly if something happened to Jota. Particularly. I feel like if Traore got injured, they would just stay with the front
Doherty
two and
whatever.
they'd go the extra one in midfield. I think they'd go back to a lot of what we saw second half of last season. I think if Jota got injured, because of the importance of Traore in that side now, Neto would get a good run at 5.0 midfielder. I mean, he's a goal scorer. He's a kid. He's 19. Might be one to keep an eye on second half of this season.
Good player, actually, Neto. I think he's going to be really good. Let's talk about City 2, Everton 1. You watched this game. Was City any good?
I don't know. I watched the game. Like I said, I wasn't really there. City changed system, which is the most important thing to come out of this. So it was a back three with Fernandinho centrally, Rodri to the right and Garcia to the left. There's been some thought behind the scenes at City that this is something that he might do for quite a while when you look at the potential of Mendy and getting him bombing down the left wing, particularly obviously while Leroy Sané has been injured for this long period. And Cancelo and Kyle Walker can both play a wing back position on the right hand side as well. You could argue that Walker could play centre half as he did for England, and Cancelo could play ahead of that. The fear amongst the community is obviously how deep Kevin De Bruyne was. I think, and it's just a personal opinion, that Guardiola knew that whether Everton played a back three or a back four, and they went back to a back three here, that they would play with two up front. And he was too concerned to play two centre halves against that, and didn't want to restrict the fullbacks from getting forward, and therefore went to three at the back and played De Bruyne in a deeper position. I don't think this is a long-term move for City. I think it's a move for specific games. Remember as well that in the what was the fixture where Bernardo played centre midfield a little while ago in a game?
I have no idea which one you're talking about.
Against Leicester. It was against Leicester. Bernardo Silva played deeper than Kevin De Bruyne. So I think we can see Bernardo in that position potentially, with De Bruyne higher. David Silva's back fit, could also possibly at his age play in a deeper position. And De Bruyne can still get the points from now. So no major concerns on that. Just a couple of notes on City. Gabriel Jesus had the highest XG over the 4 Christmas fixtures, 3.10, despite only playing 182 minutes, which is the equivalent of 2 games. And nobody had more shots over the Christmas period than Riyad Mahrez with 17. 12 of those were in the box. Now, I'd highlighted last week about looking at City and Mahrez before that Villa fixture. I think now with the change to what will be a back 5 in that fixture for Villa, and Tyrone Mings playing as the left-sided of the 3 centre-halves, that appeals far less to me.
How did Sidibe pick up 2 bonus points despite no clean sheet and no attacking returns in this game? What is he doing that is helping him get up into that? Because he's picked up BPS in 3 games out of the last 7 or something along those lines.
He's a good player.
What is he doing? Is it that he doesn't lose the ball? Is it dribbles? Is it neat, tidy passing? Does the BPS
I can't
help
say
you
that
in
I've
any way?
researched it to give you a factual answer is the honest truth on that. But quite often with fullbacks, like Max Aarons against Aston Villa, I'd highlighted a couple of weeks ago, picked up 1 bonus point. And it normally comes from fullback areas of chances created.
Right.
So I was drunk and I watched the game, but I didn't watch the game. But you can definitely look at Sidibe, no doubt about it. Whether they play a 4 or a 3, he can be a threat in that position, because when they played the 4 at Newcastle, Richarlison played in front of him. You know Richarlison's going to go and float anyway. So it's not so much of a problem. Again, to repeat what we said last week, I think Mason Holgate is an option. And Calvert-Lewin is obviously definitely an option as well with good fixtures. I think lots will go and gamble on that now the City fixtures out of the way. I think some obviously already did. Yeah, they're one you can look at, Everton. I haven't seen enough of it in a game where I'd fancy them to win to want to go in and do it personally. But I've got thoughts to remove Rashford after United play Norwich. And I might come down to sort of Calvert-Lewin.
Yeah, I've got thoughts to get rid of Diego Rico after what I saw from Bournemouth, and Sidibe might be the one. Norwich 1, Crystal Palace 1. You kept Zaha. At least he got you an assist. Is he out now, or are you going to hold with Wilf Zaha for a little while?
Because I have to get the Spurs boys out of my team. So he's going to stay. But then he's going for a -4 with Rashford the week after, is the way it's looking. I'm going to be more aggressive this season.
Come on, Cantwell. He keeps chipping away. 4.7 million I bought him back at. He's got to stay, really.
Does the job on the tin, doesn't he?
He's got to stay.
There's so many teams, I think, now sitting with Cantwell and Traore. And yeah, you can say lots of people like me and Suj obviously got him in off the bench. You can say it's lucky, or you can say it's building a squad. Plus, we've had it the other way loads of times where he's got points and he's stayed on that bench. Yeah. So he's the best player at that value, isn't he? I don't know if he went up. I think he might have gone up last night to 4.9.
He is 4.9.
He went up last night, I think. And he might get more out of that, actually, oddly enough, having dropped all the way down to 4.6. The really interesting one, and I think because of Cantwell, people won't go near, is Buendia at 6.0. His numbers over the Christmas period are mad. He had the highest XA of any player in the league and most key passes with 21. To give you some perspective on that, next highest over the Christmas period were Grealish and William with 15.
Right.
Like, this guy is creating serious chances for Norwich. But yeah, I don't see anyone going to have like a Cantwell and a Buendia in their team.
No, and his point doesn't always translate to points, unfortunately, either from an FPL point of view.
But he's certainly now beginning to show what we were told in the summer that he could be. He's creating a ton of chances, mate.
Do you think? What do you think on Palace? Just steady eddies. They've not been keeping the clean sheets that they've been keeping for a while.
No, it's always like one in, isn't it?
Yeah, it's frustrating. Same way Liverpool were for so long. I mean, Liverpool on a 5 in a row roll at the moment.
But they are still reliable in that area. One of the things I was thinking of, I tried to assess yesterday actually why the whole thing with Zaha had not worked in the way I'd hoped from it. It's two main reasons. And one actually affects the other. One is he's playing too wide. And as I said on the last pod, he doesn't break his neck to get in the box. If the ball's on the right-hand side, he just hangs out. He doesn't get himself into the position to be a real threat. But on closer inspection, he's really missed his mate, Van Aanholt, who, during this period that I've had him for, Van Aanholt played in the game at Burnley when Zaha scored. And since then, he started twice, come off early. The Bournemouth was very early. And he came off against you as well at 1-0. Mm-hmm. The only other fixture he played was the defeat at Newcastle. So I feel like he's Riedewald at left back. He's proper ropey. I feel like he's missed his mate. And when I bought Zaha, Van Aanholt was fit, right?
Yeah.
But I do think that's something that's had a negative impact. Because PVA bombs on, it does give Zaha the option to go either way. Mm-hmm. He does make inside runs as well, PVA. And I think that's really hindered Zaha in terms of having a little bit of help on that flank. But he's also at fault himself. Unless obviously I can't believe that the ball's on the right-hand side of the pitch and he's under instruction to stay on the left.
Yeah.
The instruction really should be get in the box.
Break him.
He just stays too wide, unfortunately. But
one more game and then he's gone.
Yeah.
West Ham 4, Bournemouth 0. 0 points. You didn't watch it then, or you just saw the highlights?
I've not seen much more than sort of what was on Match of the Day. I'm trusting you here, mate.
It was chalk and cheese. Like, you get a new manager bounce, and then you just get a new team. It's just complete chalk and cheese from what we've seen all season. You talk about wanting the players to work hard. All I wanted was just work hard, keep it simple, make some tackles, and we got way more than that. So we set up quite differently. We went to a 4-4-2 with Felipe as a pure out and out number 10.
Played right up, yeah?
Yeah, right up.
The graphics seem to show him
number
at 10.
10. Free roll, do what you want to do, but stay reasonably close to Haller. So he was always close to Haller, which has been a real problem this season, no one being close to Haller. We had a right-sider on the left in Fornals and a left-footer on the right in Snodgrass, if you see what I mean.
So, sorry, Fornals left, Snodgrass right.
Yeah, exactly. The wrong-footed player on the wrong side.
For you, right?
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, we quite often do that. And then Rice and Noble played in the middle of the park as like a real 4-4-2. The biggest telling stat, the most you will learn about this game is from that first half. We had 35% possession.
I saw that.
And went in 3-0 up.
You only have 3 shots on target as well.
Yeah, it was literally the most. Bournemouth all game didn't get a glove on us. It was so sideways. And what we did, it reminded me of Wolves, where they let you have the ball, pass it. You make 10 passes if you want, 12 passes that you want. And we pressed at just the right time. When you press, it's about knowing when to press. When they've got themselves into a position where they've got no pass, then go in and nick the ball back.
I would have thought Snodgrass would normally be the one who'd instigate that.
Noble, Rice, Snodgrass, like everyone. Okay. Felipe, everyone. Everyone was running. Everyone was tackling. And that was the first half. Literally, we'd let them have the ball and then 5 to 7 passes, bang, we'd get it back, hit them on the counter. Obviously, Noble's first goal was lucky. It wasn't against the run of play, but the deflection was lucky. Haller's finish was class. And then we got the penalty through VAR, which I've only seen a couple of replays of.
I mean,
ropey.
it was given originally by the referee, and VAR didn't
overturn it. He was coming in from behind, though, right?
it
It
was
might
a
have
bit
clipped his
dodgy.
ankle or something.
But that I'm always okay with the referee's decision.
Yeah, so it was given, and that was that. And honestly, they just didn't get a glove on us. I reckon we could have played for another 2 days, and Bournemouth weren't going to be get in behind or create any chances. Second half was a little bit more even because they had to attack a little bit more. Felipe Anderson has been booed off so many times this season, 70 odd minutes coming off to a standing ovation. You could see it in him that he just felt so good. So chalk and cheese, absolute chalk and cheese. But Bournemouth came across as very compliant opposition.
Compliant, wow, yeah.
Eddie Howe said.
That's not what you want to get. I'd rather get called shit than compliant.
Eddie Howe, in his post-match press conference, said that he thought his team did all the right things in terms of passing the ball.
Right.
They passed well. They just had no penetration with that passing at all. But from a West Ham point of view, really, really good. Really good.
Okay.
I need to see some consistency though. Let's not fucking start.
No.
Excited,
We'll talk about a lot more in tactical sort of on Tottenham. Just a couple of things I want to pick up with you. Who played left for Bournemouth? Because from what I saw statistically in the game, like Ryan Fredericks was at a clear field quite a lot.
Who played left?
He played Solanke
midfield.
off the left?
Solanke was off
In
the
first
left.
half?
And
I know Fraser
Callum
come
Wilson,
on at like half time, I think.
Yeah, Callum Wilson was up top. Yeah,
Okay.
I would say so.
Are West Ham a trap?
Are we a trap?
Yeah, bearing in mind you got a double game week coming up.
So Fabianski is definitely not.
Okay.
Fabianski is definitely a not.
Yeah.
Felipe plays like that week in, week out. You will want him in your FPL team.
Okay, 6.6.
But yeah, because his price is good and he's a real creative talent. His first touch
goal of the season.
It was. But that first touch to take it, but was it past Steve Cook he took it?
Might have been Francis, I think, maybe.
Who was
I
captain?
might be wrong.
Yeah. But just that first touch was close. You just want to see him doing that week in, week out. He could be a real consideration. But we've had a change of style of play and a change in formation. And one game is not enough to figure out if that's how we're going to play in more games going forward. We've got some real good games coming up. Sheffield United away, Leicester, Liverpool. Do you know, if you're going to...
I really don't think you do, mate.
No, but in the sense that if we're going to go... We've got to play them twice. Everyone's got to play everybody twice, right? If we play like we did, we'll give anyone a game because the first thing you got to do is match their effort. I think Sir Alex Ferguson said it. First thing you do is match their effort. If you don't match the effort, you're going to lose. If you match the effort and you got better players, you got a chance of winning. So if we match the effort, I think we'll be good. So yeah, let's challenge.
I really
test
feel
it.
like these fixtures: Sheffield United away, Everton at home, Leicester away, Liverpool at home, Brighton at home, Man City away, Liverpool away, Southampton at home, Arsenal away, Wolves at home, Tottenham away, Chelsea at home. Do need highlighting. It was a massive victory. I feel like bar the goalkeeper, I'm probably going to give you a miss. But just quickly, Sebastian.
Yeah, I'm not jumping up and down to say get any outfield players in because look, Antonio's disappeared again. He's injured or what have you. He wasn't even in the squad.
And someone like Anderson feels more like a trap. So was Antonio not fit?
He wasn't even in the squad.
He's not going to be not in the squad. He must have had something wrong.
Yeah,
with him.
exactly. He was fit. It must be an injury. I don't know what the details are.
Great goal by Allaire, mate.
Very good. I've been.
He didn't look happy when he scored.
It was the Eric Cantona moody pose.
Really?
Yeah.
Celebrate, mate.
Nah. My brother gave me a lot of grief for that. Because I've been giving Haller a hard time for being so immobile and so static. And my brother was like, is he all right now? I was like, I've never said he's a bad player. He just needs to run. I saw him sprint a couple of times.
Okay, good.
That's as rare as an Almiron goal.
Congratulations.
That's as rare as an Almiron goal.
Bournemouth's next 4 games, absolutely critical. Watford, Brighton and Villa at home with Norwich away, the second of those 4. They need a seriously good haul from those 4 points. I would suggest at least 7 points because then it gets really rough again. They had 28 shots over the Christmas period. Break that down into 4 games, only 7 shots per game on average. He had 19 in the box. That's less than 5 a game. Their XG was only Burnley had a worse XG over the Christmas period. Just the 1 goal scored. I spoke about going to Callum Wilson and looking at these numbers, and you're shaking your head for the audio listeners who can't see it.
Yeah, not even
I feel like even with a tougher run of fixtures, going to Ings and covering off that battering I'm getting by his points scoring every week feels like a better move.
Much better
than
move.
taking a
Much
punty
better
move on anything Bournemouth at the moment. What would you advise to people like Rico and that? I think you hold through these 4, surely.
And yeah, I mean, if he's just going to be bench fodder and you've got money and you can upgrade him to a 5 to 5.5 million player that's going to play, like a Sidibe, yeah, and go for it.
Like
but
if I've got Ramsdale, right, and I've got Watford at home, Norwich away, Brighton and Villa at home, and in that third fixture of the 4, that's when you have the double. Can you advise me to go from Ramsdale to Fabianski?
We haven't won 4-0 in 12 years.
That's no shock.
But it says everything about the Bournemouth defence. They're slow. I thought that they defended very badly. I don't see them keeping clean sheets.
Ake as well, aren't they?
I don't think they're keeping clean sheets, mate. They were very slow.
But they have been, prior to the Brighton fixture, they have been better defensively. I actually feel the fact that they've tried to compensate for something defensively is actually harming them from what they're good at, which is playing with 2 wide players, playing with 2 forwards, and getting back to the things that Bournemouth are quite good at, like being good on the counter-attack. I feel like they've gone to a more possession-based game, which is restricting them because they're not moving the ball forward quick enough. And I think they need to get back away from that. I know there's contract issues with Fraser and stuff. Get him back in the team. Get the ball out wide to him and start causing a threat. These next 4 are massive for them. If they don't come out of it well, they will go this time.
Yeah, I think there's a real danger of that now.
I do think they will come out of it well, though, by the way. I think they're the sort of side Bournemouth. It feels like...
Not on what I saw on the week,
feels like
on
with
Wednesday.
them, every year, they have like 8-9 games in a row and they don't win. You're like, Bournemouth ain't won for 8-9, and then they go and win like 3 on a spin.
Yeah, that is true. I didn't see anything interesting at all at the weekend.
But this is the first time since they come up they've really been in the shitter.
I wanted to find their... I don't know, you might even be able to help me find their XG from the game on Wednesday. I don't know, I'm not a stat enough to go and find what the XG on Saturday Wednesday specifically was.
Shite.
It would have been poor. Very, very poor, because it really felt like they didn't even get a glove on us, and such a controlled performance. So let's see. And leaky at the back for Bournemouth, so issues there.
Let's talk about another team that didn't lay many gloves.
Arsenal 2, Manchester United 0.
The only threat to Arsenal was that free kick. Might have killed someone in the stand, wasn't it, from Fred? I mean, if any moment it ever summed up a football team's performance, it was definitely Fred's free kick.
Are we at risk now of... getting, like, for so many clubs, there's so many highs and so many lows, and the highs seem to be getting higher and the lows seem to be getting lower.
Yeah.
Like Man United, off the back of beating you and City, all things Rashford and everything swimming to being the shittest team in the world. Arsenal down in the dumps, new manager comes in, and Mesut Ozil turns into fucking Kevin De Bruyne in disguise, 11.5 kilometres or whatever.
It was good, Ozil. I mean, they were all good, Arsenal, in fairness.
Yeah, was it most yards run and most tackles made was Mesut Ozil in the match or something crazy like that, which is mad. But we get so high and so low at the same time with all these players and clubs, and I don't know.
It's one to watch, Ozil.
I think so.
7.2.
It was going to be my talking point on this game. Is it?
I wouldn't go near him, mate. I wouldn't even get him in my South team, mate. 1% owned, 7.2. But I think it's one to keep an eye on in the coming weeks. Just a caution. They played really well for
one half.
For one half against Chelsea, but in terms of their fight and character in the game, they give Chelsea a real good shot. What happened differently in this game? To be honest, the first halves were quite similar.
Yep.
What they managed to do really importantly this time was get the second goal. Mm-hmm. And it allowed them just defensively a little bit more. And I felt like against United, they maintained a better threat on the counter-attack than they had against Chelsea. That said, you're playing against inferior midfield players with respect to Manchester United. I mean, Fred seems to be at the heart of everything they do. And I praised him after we played them. I praised him after the Manchester derby. He ain't good enough for United in the long run. They're missing McTominay. Pogba's gone missing again. I've got problems in that area.
He's having ankle surgery, apparently.
I mean, I've got to get him out, haven't they?
it's weird.
And
It's a weird one.
McTominay's going to be a real miss for them. In the short term, if you own Rashford or Martial, it's still okay. Like, Norwich at home next. Where are you going? I don't think you can be selling before that fixture. Then afterwards, it's Liverpool away, and it will feel, if you're disappointed then, as a more sensible time to come off, I would suggest. Arsenal, for me, gun to head, if I had to buy one tomorrow, it would still only be Aubameyang. There are strong rumours that Xhaka might be off to Germany, although Arteta tried to hide it. And there's also strong belief still that Aubameyang could go, so don't go near him. I suspect he'll stay and see out the season, but...
Is his contract up in the summer?
No. The problem is they have an imbalance, right? Aubameyang doesn't want to be playing on the left and running back and tracking back. And it's all well good saying new managers in, Chelsea and United work up, and suddenly Arsenal will put in more effort in. Yeah, they should. And by the way, as I said on the last pod, Arsenal played really well in these two fixtures last year and worked hard and won both those fixtures 2-0. So, let's see. They go to Palace at the weekend, a game we would now expect them to win, obviously Saturday week. Will they?
They should win, although Palace are very dogged.
Will
Palace away
Yeah.
is not an easy game for anyone.
But if Arsenal go there and play their football, win. Palace at home are not, it's nothing to fear.
No.
Right? You just double up on Zaha, and other than that, you let your football do the talking. Will they go there and show the same commitment that they've done in these two home games in such more high-profile fixtures? If they do, and then they maintain that, I think there's every chance Arsenal could finish this season finishing 5th.
Let's talk about last night's game before we get into a few Twitter questions from the community that follow and listen. And thank you to all the followers that got me over 3,000 on New Year's Eve, because this year now I'm going to be rich. I'm going to be rich, because that's what it means, isn't it, James?
I saw the official account passed 1 million over the Christmas period.
Yeah, they've probably been shared on trolling sites and stuff now. So, if bullies never prosper, apparently they do.
Oh, right, okay. We're calling them bullies now, are we?
Yeah, why not?
You ain't getting back on that show again, mate.
They could sponsor our whole show.
You
if they
must
wanted.
know who runs the account. You've got intel, haven't you?
No, we're going to try and find out. I've never even asked. Let me try and find out.
Next time.
Liverpool 2, Sheffield United 0. Who should we buy, Salah or Mane? Well, it doesn't make a difference, does it? Just get one and just leave it. Salah. It's good to see Salah back though now. Where there was a real 4 or 5 week period where it was like Mane is the better one. I think now there is just no debate about it whatsoever.
If you'd have been a Mane owner, that goal last night must be absolutely fantastic. The fact that it took him 2 efforts also nicked the assist off of Salah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they're going to keep matching each other. You're going to have a week where Salah gets 2, Mane blanks. You're going to have a week where it goes the other way. I just personally have a preference for Mane. I wouldn't tell anybody else to go Mane over Salah. I just feel that the closer they get, the tighter the season will be. They've got some fixtures coming up, including these 3 away games, Tottenham, Wolves, West Ham, which I would favour Mane for. I think if I was going straight into those February fixtures where there's some really nice home games, I'd possibly favour Salah. But I think on the immediate, I think the fact that I owned Mane previously and did me fine at the back end of last year and this season, price is the same now, isn't it, basically? So
yeah, 12.
You're just going to go with your preference. I think for a lot of the listeners, that will be Salah. That's fine. I just have a preference for Mane. XG-wise over the Christmas period, I think Mane bossed it slightly, but then last night it felt like Salah was shooting every 5 minutes. It's just going to be your preference. And it's okay to go to both. Absolutely. I just feel for me, I'd rather have the security of the unbelievable value in Trent and Robertson and be able to spread my funds elsewhere. Because I think for a lot of people, if you're going Mane, Salah, you may be struggling for a Trent or a Robertson without... I mean, you're still holding a De Bruyne as well. So you
tricky.
There are a lot of good cheap options. You can go with front lines of Calvert-Lewin and Ings and Maupay or whatever. Of course you can. My preference is to 2 defensively and then pick whichever one you want. Whichever way you go, Salah, Mane, once you pick one,
stick with it for a while.
Yeah, they're going to swap. Some weeks it's going to be good. Some weeks it's going to be bad. I feel I'm edging towards using that triple captainship on Mane in the double game week. I'd be less confident doing it Salah with Wolves away and that.
Trent and Robbo now between them, last 5 game weeks, which is 5 clean sheets in a row, 77 points between them, which is an average of 7.7 per game. But then remember that they both were dropped for one of, albeit Trent came in for one. So this is what we hoped for at the start of the season now. They're trading blows week in, week out of who's going to be the one to have. Oh, yeah, they are the assets that we thought they would be. Now that the Liverpool clean sheets are back in, can't not own them, can you, really?
No, and I mean, I'm kind of ruling out Van Dijk, which I said about the triple defensive. He picks up 8 points last night.
Yeah,
just
couple
on
more
like
BPS.
passes alone. And he had the most passes in a Premier League game since Opta started recording it or something last
Who
night.
did? VVD?
No, Liverpool last
Liverpool
night.
did.
As a team, yeah.
Wow.
Like nearly 900 odd.
Wow.
Mad, yeah. You think some of the stuff that City have pulled out in games.
Wow.
Well, Sheffield United...
Like if West Ham get 400-500, I'm blown away.
Wilder said... I'll be blown away if Spurs get the 90 without them being long balls.
Yeah.
Wilder said after, he was very honest in his press, not his press conference, his interview after game.
Yeah.
He said they didn't lay a glove on them. I feel like balance-wise, they were okay. Like, he was right what he said in terms of 50. It's really difficult when you go to Anfield and you concede after 4 minutes not to think, shit, we could be in big trouble here. So for the large part, they kept him out. It was more of a defensive bank of 5. There was no overlapping from the centre halves until very late in the game. The midfield 3 generally sat. Fleck and Lundstrom supported when they could. Obviously, Lundstrom had the goal disallowed for offside, although he was clearly offside. They couldn't get the outball. Whereas you get McGoldrick and Mousse make really good runs into the channel quite often. They just couldn't get the outball. And I actually think the two fullbacks, Robertson and Alexander, probably put the brakes on a little bit more than they normally do. And actually, I think Sheffield United dealt with the threat of those two quite well. If you consider, obviously, Bulldog slipped for the first goal. It's just one of them things. Otherwise, they actually nullified Robertson and Trent quite well. But there's no stopping the two of them. Like, they're going to get balls in the box and that.
Beasts, aren't they, really?
No big deal for Sheffield United here. Like, you know, I think it's interesting to read in the fact that Sheffield United, for periods, particularly in the first half at Man City, really did threaten them. And he just couldn't get near Liverpool. I think that's the difference it almost gives you an overall into where Liverpool and Man City are at the moment as well.
With each other or versus the league?
Well, in the fact that Sheffield United did cause Man City trouble. It didn't really cause Liverpool any trouble. I mean,
Right, okay,
I know McBurney should have scored really late in the game, but I think it's just down to concentration and sloppiness from Liverpool again. What I mean is Liverpool were never in a period of duress under the game where Sheffield United even had like a 3-4 minute spell. It's never happened. Like Sheffield United had a few breakaways at the Etihad. It's because City will give you a chance.
Yeah.
That's why, like, I'm telling you, if City win every game left, they won't catch Liverpool. And City ain't going to win every game left. We've still got to play Liverpool for one.
Yeah, true. 100 points, Invincibles, possibly.
100 points, I would say, certainly possible. Now you can work it out on average. They're due for like 110 is the rate they're going at, aren't they?
Yeah.
I think the big game is actually the Wolves game in a few weeks. I think if they come through that away, you look further down the line, you go... They've still got to go to Goodison, but they'll be so up for it. They've still got to go to City, but they'll be so up for it. And those are the only other two away. Like, forget them coming to our place next week. Like, there's no way will we beat them.
Yeah,
no way.
I mean, yeah, they're not a chance in hell.
No.
I don't have anything else to add. You're not going to beat them.
No, I'm with you.
You need to pull out a world.
You know how horrible that is for me. What I've watched the last 5-6 years or so, and to know I'm going to go to a home game.
My heart bleeds.
I tell you what, we could bring.
You've been to a Champions League final last year.
I know you're going to say all that shit. That Liverpool team, as good as they are now, you could have brought them to Spurs the end of 16-17, and I'd have fancied us.
Yeah.
It's just dropped off that far, and it's nearly the same team. Anyway, that's just me going about Spurs. Liverpool are incredible. Incredible. They could finish as the best league season that any of us have ever seen, I think.
Yeah.
Very conceivable at the moment.
I think the proximity to City means they're not getting the credit they deserve, maybe. We've got some really amazing teams so fresh in our minds. When we get closer and closer to the end of the season, them amongst the other greats will become more and more of a conversation.
They do the basics really well.
Everything, and they've got strength in depth.
Yeah.
Players come in, they don't skip a beat. The likes of Lallana and Shaqiri, who are not they're great players, but they're not world-class players. But they come in and they just, even Ox, they don't skip a beat when these guys come in.
Just one final thing on Liverpool. Obviously, Joe Gomez, I don't know if he's gone up in price, but he was very close to going up. With Liverpool, I strongly advise don't cut corners. He has gone up to 5.2 now. And obviously, he's come back in the team for that Bournemouth fixture in Gameweek 16. 5 clean sheets in a row. Now, obviously, you can put 2 and 2 together. We do not know what will happen when Matip and Lovren are fit again. But I strongly advise don't cut corners with Liverpool. Cut your corners somewhere else.
Yeah.
Go for Robertson, Alexander-Arnold, Van Dijk, Salah, Mane. Firmino, interestingly, another blank at Anfield. But I think he's got 7 in 9 away games or something. And you are looking at the double.
Yeah.
And again, I feel like don't cut corners. Go with the big hitters, Liverpool. I know that's what Dan would say, FPL Loco Lord. 100% he would say don't cut corners.
No, I agree with you on that. And the best team in the country, why are we getting their second best players? Just the logic defies. Should we do some Twitter questions, James? Because we've been getting an hour and 10. We've got 20 minutes. We'll get through as many of these Twitter questions as we can. Some of them are yes, no's, which I like. And some we've answered in the show. But we'll give you a shout out and answer them again.
Go on.
Dr. Matt07, Matt Hall. Hope you're well, Matt. Happy New Year to you. What to do with Ali? Sell.
Excuse me.
Is there no case for keeping Dele Alli?
No, of course there is. I just need to rage it out. I'm not a rage kind of guy. Having Spurs assets under Mourinho is just not good for my health. Remember we was at a stage, probably sort of September, October time last year when he was still at United. And we were saying, I will not own a player from them in an attacking sense while he is manager.
Yes, I remember clearly.
And that's nearly where I'm at Spurs. Son is a real difficult case, actually, because he's going to come back at such low ownership, probably play out a position up front. And as much as obviously Watford are on a good run, after Liverpool, he's going to walk into Watford Norwich. And there's a temptation. After that, City, he obviously scored 3 goals against City in the Champions League last year, all when Harry Kane was injured, by the way. And then after that's Villa. So that's tempting. And from that perspective, I can understand why people would hold on to Ali. For me, it's a little bit easier. I can't go Zaha to Mane. I can go Ali to Mane. So that just feels, for me, get it done. And then I might make the decision to come off Rashford down to sort of Calvert-Lewin's area. And then I could go Zaha to Son, depending on what I see at Middlesbrough and what I see against Liverpool. I suspect Son will play out a position up front.
Our friend Chris at FPL Addict, FI_FPL Addict 123 said Anderson looks rejuvenated. First goal of the season. Do you expect many more, albeit inconsistently? I do, but it's way too early to be looking at it right now. But he just played with a different lease of life. I think one game is just not enough to be looking at a 6.6 million right here, right now. Post the next couple of games, I'd probably think Jack Grealish is still a much better option because of how much more talismanic he will be for Villa. And Anderson came off Lanzini, who is getting back to fitness as well. You could see the two of them getting rotated. With the Hammers front 3 or 4, it can be anyone. Sometimes it's Snodgrass, sometimes it's not really like Danny Ings is so talismanic. We don't really have that right now. So, yeah, don't buy Felipe Anderson right now, basically.
Do you think when you get to Game Week 24, which is the double, do you think you will have any West Ham players?
Well, Fabianski, yes, because I bought him.
You've got him already?
Yeah.
Anything more?
If we play in the next couple of games like we did on Wednesday, I'd have one more.
Okay, and who would that likely be at this moment?
If I had to pick one today, it'd be Anderson.
Really?
Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I think the only one I've got my eye on is Antonio. I know obviously he didn't play the other day. I'm just waiting to hear news of why.
Yeah.
I do think that, particularly in those fixtures, I've said it before, that he could go Antonio up front on his own because the opposition is Leicester, Liverpool. And from that point of view, it does potentially appeal. Because, if he picked me up an assist out of those 2 games, I might feel it's justifiable actually because he's going to get me 7 then with no bonus, and then it becomes interesting.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would maybe consider that. Otherwise, I wouldn't be looking at Anderson.
Definitely over the next 2 or 3 games is a watching brief on the boys though.
What would you say? There's obviously a lot of guys that will be listening and gals who have got Nick Pope.
Yeah.
Would you advise that just Fabianski
Pope to
get it done?
Fabianski? Yeah, I mean defense was just so much better, and he was just calm and assured.
I think there are others. Ramsdale.
Yeah.
Henderson. I wouldn't force it.
Same price, yeah,
but
there's some that are. Yeah.
Pope, I can see that. And obviously, if you were a Tom Heaton owner, as long as you've got that spare 0.4, I think absolute no-brainer.
Has to be done.
Yeah.
Danny Ings or Dominic Calvert-Lewin? That's coming in from FPL Jimmy with a D.
Kind of answered that, haven't I?
Yeah, you've bought Danny Ings. There's a price difference between the two. If money no object, Danny Ings no object. And the thing with Danny Ings is you play him week in, week out without any risk of rotation. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, you may want to drop on the odd game, maybe.
I think Danny Ings is a longer term move. I mean, if you're looking for short and you want to dive in, get your points, get back off, or obviously if he does well, you can obviously hold longer. I think Calvert-Lewin is the better short term option. I've taken the view that I need to remove Ali. I want to remove Zaha. I may be in a position where I need to bomb Rashford out. That being in a position where I ended up possibly with another forward I was going to be really unhappy with, not to go down that route. So Ings is a longer term choice while he's fit, and at the moment we've got to assume that he will stay fit, and that's why I've gone down that route. It's very close. Calvert-Lewin's the better short term call than Danny Ings.
This one is for you. It's coming in from Captain Hindsight. Chances of Liverpool keeping a clean sheet versus Spurs as a percentage now without
seriously, bookies will probably price it up about 40-45%. I would say about 50% is right. Anybody can concede a goal at any time. Look at that with McBurney late in the game last night. So, yeah, I mean, I would fancy Liverpool for the clean sheet.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got double Liverpool defence like you have and I have, you're playing them, no question.
Listen,
no question.
If I had treble Liverpool defence and they had Man City away next week, I'd still be playing all of them and never leaving Liverpool defenders out ever.
Yeah, it's interesting. So we've got FPL Geek. Shout out to you, FPL Geek Sweden. We've answered both your questions, but I'm just giving you a shout out. It was asking about KDB playing deeper versus Everton. We spoke about that when we reviewed the game, and the best replacement for Pope, which we could say probably yes, Fabianski. Having said that, Ramsdale's got better fixtures. Henderson's been so consistent throughout the season. There are options there. All have their pros and cons. Fabi looked okay from my point of view. I think he's a good shout. I mean, the penalty save as well the week before. I felt like I knew he's going to save it.
It's a very good penalty save. And it's just psychologically, it does help.
Let's have a look here. We've got FPL Louis Huey, who was also asking about best goalkeepers under 5 million. So we've answered that as well.
FPL Louis Huey's Gillingham fan. Am I right from his badge? He is, yes. Yeah. So he's got you at the weekend. Also,
correct.
Congratulations on the baby, mate. And the baby Christmas Day.
Wow.
Not him, obviously.
Yeah, his missus.
His missus. I don't know. Might not have been.
We've got Jarvo at ajarv19 who says probably one for Tottenham, but how did West Ham perform like that for Moyes but not for Pellegrini? Let's save that one for Tottenham. I think we'll save that one for Tottenham. The thing is that Moyes had him for a day and a half, so that change in style and formation was not...
It's just managed. It's two things, isn't it?
It's not like they've reinvented the wheel.
Manager bounce, and in credit to Moyes, seems to have very quickly identified that counter-attacking on Bournemouth would be the right way to go.
Well, the thing is, we've been trying to counter-attack all season. We're just slow at it. Prior to this, we haven't spent enough time soaking up pressure, and we haven't attacked quick enough when we've broken. That was quite a big change in that.
Well, Anderson always, we've said it so many times, he's more threatening when he's on the counter.
100%.
Than sort of having the ball at feet and having a block in front of him.
True. Andre L 0313 on Twitter. Hey guys, hello Andre. Is Ali the guy if Kane is out for a few weeks, or is it time to move on from Spurs assets? We've already answered that. James doesn't believe it at all.
It's circumstantial, right? At the moment, I've got the money sitting in the bank for Ali to Mane for a -4. It's just my mental state's going to be better. I think you can hold Dele Alli. If you've got other issues, I wouldn't sell him. Probably Ali and Son, not by Son now, but we'll all have a second guess on Son after that Liverpool fixture. As shit as it is at the moment, because you know what he's capable of.
Yeah, agree with you. The Blue City at the Blue City. This is a really good FPL question. What are your FPL New Year's resolutions?
Be more aggressive.
Do you think so?
Yeah, need to be. Yeah.
So that means taking more hits.
Yeah.
In your mind, do you even... are you basically now not even thinking about how many hits you're going to take, but basically just saying, if I think they will outscore my existing players by more than 4 points, so that I'm going to take a hit?
Yeah.
See, I've tried...
I wouldn't judge Mane and Ali over a one game.
Yeah.
But do I think Mane will score at Tottenham and Ali probably won't? Well, yeah, as well. So,
Yeah.
and I might end up captaining Mane as well. In which case, it's almost no brainer.
I've tried to, in my mind, I've said to myself, I'm going to be more aggressive. Yeah, I've had and been pushing my 2 free transfers for quite a while. I want to take a couple of hits and have a mini wild card, but something keeps making me always keep pushing it forward till the timing's right.
Yeah.
I think it's still going to be another week or two.
Take me the week after. So if I'm almost going Mane, he'll be my double game week captain. I would prefer Vardy over Rashford as well that game week if it was to be from a single game, i.e. I think Leicester got you and United are at home to Burnley. If I sell Rashford and Zaha in the next game week for a -4, Zaha's got City away and Rashford's got Liverpool away. All right, yeah, they could return, but I feel like that's justifiable to then, if I go like Maddison and a Calvert-Lewin or something like that, yeah, I might be getting the points up straight away as well.
I agree with you. For me, I think I'm going to start from an FPL point of view, planning 2 weeks out, trying to think more than... I do have an eye on fixtures longer term, but I think I dive in and address a certain issue rather than strategically plan 2 or 3 weeks out. And that's something I picked up from the Sky game. If you don't play Sky Fantasy Football, then have a listen to our Sky FF podcast that we put out, Planet Sky FL, Sky FF, because that's pretty decent. That's helped my mindset in thinking longer term. It also means that, take this week, for example, I needed a bit of a break, a bit of headspace, but because I'd planned, I knew what I was doing and I set and forget it. And I actually didn't, on the Wednesday of the New Year's games, I had to go to my father-in-law's. It was his birthday, New Year's Day born. So the 12:30 game, I was at his house. I checked in a little bit, didn't really care. 3 o'clock games, I was in the pub before the West Ham game. I checked in a little bit, didn't really care. And I'd set my team because I'd planned it in advance. That was that. What was going to happen was going to happen, right? Couple more questions that we've got here. I'm trying to avoid all the ones that we've already had. I had a good one here a second ago and I lost it.
Is your thumb's too happy?
Yeah, it was. Well, to be honest, I thought I'd got to the end of 2 swipes and actually it carried on. Here we go. It's Kelly or Rico. This is coming from Selinus. I need to sell Kelly or Rico, but who is the keeper?
To be honest, that's quite a close call.
I don't think so. I think Kelly keep, Rico goes, because
I'm more inclined to go the other way, actually.
Rico's better going forward than defensively, in my opinion. Would you agree?
Yeah.
So I think he could lose his place potentially.
Rico?
Yeah. I don't know if they want to be defensively more stable.
If you look at Palace and go, right, rejuvenated potentially Arsenal in game week 22, then Man City away in game week 23.
Yeah.
And by which point Joel Ward might be back.
If Joel Ward's fit, then obviously Kelly's going to lose his place.
So Kelly's the bigger threat. I think what's important here on this one as well is when did you buy? I mean, if you bought both 4.0, I think with Bournemouth's slightly better run, I'd probably be more in line to keep Rico, I would say. Because I just think longer term Kelly could lose his spot. But then, are you that bothered? These guys are probably your second and third subs most weeks anyway.
Yep.
I think in the immediate, there'd be more temptation to play Rico in the odd fixture maybe than Kelly.
We've got Mo G here at Shake Mo. Mo, how are you, mate? Can you tell me why I used my wild card 3 weeks ago? I've gone from 150k to 800k post wildcard. You didn't want yours a couple of weeks ago.
No, I'm about 200k better off for it though.
Oh, fair play.
But then, I wish I'd had Mane and Robertson in it and just left it at that. I mean, Kane essentially near enough did what he was meant to on the tin with the 2 captaincy returns, right? Would you have, if you'd known Jamie Vardy weren't going to play 3 times, would you have sold him?
It's a very good question, probably.
I would have, yeah.
I'd have bought Aubameyang.
If I'd known.
I'd have found a way to buy Aubameyang more than likely, yeah.
Well, I'd say play 3 times. If you knew he was going to play against Liverpool and then miss the next 2 games.
Then miss the next 2,
Yeah, I would have sold him.
I'm with you on that.
I noticed, by the way, there were a lot of questions like, who do I go to from Kane? And a few people had
Kane
said...
and Ali. I'm just trying to ignore the Kane and Ali questions.
There was a couple in there I noticed people said, I need to sell Harry Kane. I haven't got Vardy. Is it obvious? Yeah, it's obvious.
I need to sell Harry Kane. I haven't got Vardy. Yeah, Kane to Vardy, no doubt.
Yeah, just get it done.
Yeah, Kane to Vardy, definitely. A lot of people also making the case for keeping Dele Alli.
Yeah, that's fair. Look, everybody's going to be in different circumstances. I don't suppose there's too many people sitting there this morning being able to go straight Ali to Mane. The majority of listeners have probably already got a Mane or a Salah or both. So for me, it's an obvious one. I think for a lot of other people, not so much. Because where do you, if you're in that same price bracket, where do you go? Richarlison? Maddison? I mean, I'd prefer Maddison personally. Richarlison will let you down with these happy-go-lucky fixtures. He was scoring the hard games. Maddison had favour, but a lot of the guys will have Maddison and Ali.
If you buy James Maddison, trust me, you won't sell him. Based on this season.
You going Ali to Grealish from Grealish playing City?
No.
Nah. So for certain, I'm not saying you've got to sell. I think for certain people, and then looking at sort of Watford, Norwich, City at home, Villa away afterwards, I can see why you'd hold. And it is possible that he'll play right up front. I know he obviously did late in the game against Southampton. I don't think he has the pace to play in that position. But the further he is away from my own central midfield, the better. Because as I said so many times, he's not as good as he thinks he is. Although I would play him in central midfield against Liverpool. But I'll explain that on Tottenham.
The final question goes to Paul Meehan. And the reason he gets the final question, because the way he's phrased his question, he listens to the show in detail. He says, at Suj and Shah, B&B, hates it when it's the same player questions over and over again. And I do. It's not that I hate it. It's just that we don't need to go through them all in
obvious.
one.
We're going to go through all the games.
Yeah. So let me try one here that might not be your first thought. Would you consider moving Kelly to Holgate in the next 4 game weeks or so? We've spoken about Mason Holgate, but would you go away from Kelly to him?
No, not if you bought a 4.0 and that. Just sit him as last sub. I don't... No.
I agree with you on that. I suppose you are looking at bench filler versus, like, is he going to play? And you really have to think about if you're going to play him week in, week out. But that's not to say... I mean, Palace's fixtures, are they bad? Not really.
Well, the next couple don't look great. Plus, they keep conceding in odds and sods. And he's unlike Rico, he's never going to get attacking returns, Kelly. No. And his place probably is under threat in a couple of weeks once Joel Ward returns. So yeah, I'm not against the move. If you've got nothing else going and you got 2 free transfers, yeah, by all means take that sideways and take some profit on Kelly. Grant Hanley's playing every week at the moment, 4.0, if that tempts anyone.
If that floats your boat, crack on.
Well, I could. Here's one for the listeners. Tell me what you think, right? So I've already gone Kane to Ings, and I'm going to go Ali to Mane for a -4. I would like to go to Zaha to Maddison for a -8, and I would pull the trigger if I could do it straight. Now to get there, I could go Kelly or Rico to Hanley for a -12. Let me know your thoughts.
Yeah, do it, because then I'll only be 14 points behind you.
I know these toss pots.
-12.
Yes. Yeah, do it. I'm very unlikely to be doing that.
Yes. I am going on holiday for 4 days tomorrow. Tell everybody what's happening in that week. We got another full week.
Yeah.
I'm going on holiday, and you're going to get every single show that you always get, because that's how we roll.
So, Monday, People's Poll, it's already been decided. Me and Suj are probably going to have a sandwich and then start recording it for release on Monday. We'll be looking at clubs and what they may be looking for during the January transfer window. Tuesday, we will be doing Tottenham as per usual, which I'm a bit scared about because we're pre-recording it today on Friday, and after Spurs lose at Middlesbrough on Sunday, Jose Mourinho might be out of a job and it will be well out of date. Wednesday, Sky Fantasy Football. How soon do we all go on Liverpool assets, or does it look like everyone's already done it, judging by my rank drop? Thursday, Clash of the Correspondents, good one. Mig and Adam, the South London Derby special. Crystal Palace versus Arsenal. Friday, final planning for game week 22. Sir, mwah.
That'll do. If you're listening regularly, you'll know the amount of stuff that you get from us now, week in, week out. We do appreciate all of your love and support over the Christmas period. To be honest with you, the volume of Merry Christmas, Happy New Year tweets was mind-blowing. Not only that, it's when people start talking about the impact we have on their year and how much they listen to us and how
sad bastards
baked into their lives we are. I mean, there's people that listen daily, and like when you see stuff like that, it's just still mind-blowing and confusing. So yeah, thank you very, 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 very much for all of that.
We always say that while people keep wanting it, we'll keep doing it,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. You know what happens with those? Every time I get tagged in a tweet, not every single time because quite often, but every now and then where it's like someone said something amazing about the pod and tagged us in, I just show it to my wife and start laughing. I'm like, look at these. I'm like, this is just stupid.
Wife, step up.
I'm like, look, nah, not even that. I'm like, these guys are crazy that they appreciate what we do.
We
it's
appreciate the love. Thank you.
Honestly, yeah. So thank you for that. And I wish you all a happy new year. I know game week 21 was not the best for some people, but chin up because it can turn around as quickly as it goes up and down. And there's still 17 game weeks to go with some real fascinating ones coming up. Double game weeks, split game weeks, this, that, and the other. So you've got to stay interested as you go along. So yeah, stay tuned. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all of that other stuff that you're supposed to do. But other than that, enjoy your weekend. Ciao for now.
And for particularly lower league supporters, just to cut you off,
yes,
who might be in the FA Cup third round this weekend, particularly like Gillingham fans.
Oh yeah.
Very best of luck this weekend in the Cup.
Come on, Middlesbrough. Ciao for now.
Cue music, man, child.
The Fantasy Football Show.